So I'm in a big empty open space because we've got some very exciting news, and I've been holding back on this a while everything was being worked out, but we are in a new space because we're opening a bookstore. Welcome back. As you can probably tell by the title of this video, I have a big announcement, and it's very exciting news for me at least, in that we are opening a bookstore. And I put off doing this video for quite a while. I know that videos where people are opening bookstores and they take you along on the journey are really popular, but truthfully, everything that has come up to this point has been the boring administrative stuff of setting up the LLC, setting up the business. I could have taken us around when we were looking at potential locations, but we always had our realtor with us, and that seemed pretty intrusive. And so I didn't do that, but I do have footage of our blank space, and it is the perfect location. So I just wanted to chat a little bit about how this decision came about, what the journey has been like, and what comes next in the next few weeks. So as background, if you are new here, I'm Gina. Hi, this is my channel, and I talk primarily about mysteries and thrillers. That is the niche that I love to live in. It's my favorite literature, but I will read cross-genre things if there is a mystery element to them. So I will venture into fantasy, romance, romantic suspense, etc. If it takes me in that direction. So that's as far as I go around blurring those genre lines. I always wanted to work with books somehow in the book industry, either in publishing or as a bookseller. And I did do my undergrad, and I went and got a master's degree in English literature, and I did teach for a while. I taught both composition and also literature before I stopped teaching after I had my daughter. And one of the reasons that I stopped teaching was not because I didn't love it, because I do. It was that I lived in Southern California. It was very expensive. I had gone to a private graduate school, so I had a lot of student loans that I needed to pay back. And I had had to go get a full-time job. And I was doing that, and then I was teaching in the evening in hopes that potentially someday there would be a full-time teaching position. I also made a conscious decision not to go on for my PhD because I didn't want to get any more in debt. And there was really a lack of full-time teaching positions in Southern California at that time in the late 90s. And so my life just went down a different path. I had a very successful career in industry, and I worked for one company for 15 years before I left there, and then I moved into consulting. And I really liked consulting. I made a conscious decision to go into consulting because I like change, and I know that's not normal for a lot of people, but I really did not like being in the type of job where I did the same thing day after day after day. And moving into consulting gave me the opportunity to work with different clients on different projects, and I really loved that. And I found it very rewarding, and I got exactly what I wanted to out of it. I stayed with the same firm for 12 years, and I moved my way up the ladder there. And I was in a vice president's role, and over the last 2 years, the consulting world has really changed. I was at a mid-market firm, and even the Big Four we've seen wave after wave of layoffs, and there's just not as much room there as there was before. And the next big wave, I think, impacting consulting is really AI. And what can AI do for us that we would normally get from consultants, which is kind of scary, but it is what it is. I knew that the handwriting was kind of on the wall, that I needed to start thinking about what comes next. And at first blush, it felt like I have two big choices: either find a corporate job, go back into corporate, do the same job day after day for the next 5 to 7 years until I'm ready to retire, or move to another firm and potentially have the same issues there over again. And so I was really holding back, and I wasn't really pursuing a job search. I spoke to a few firms and never really pursued going very far with it because my heart wasn't in it. And I thought about a lot of freelance stuff, just doing editing and potentially going back into teaching at a community college and a lot of different things, and nothing, again, was really speaking to me. And then I really thought about, I think I could open a bookstore, and started doing research with our small business development group in the state to find out if this was a feasible plan. So first big aha of this decision. With the small business development group, we did decide that it was a feasible plan, but only if we niched down. So we became a genre-specific bookstore. We have some independent bookstores that are not genre-specific. We have what looks like a very successful used bookstore in town, and it just seemed like it needed to have a specific focus to differentiate it from the other bookstores in town. So with the business development group's research, that is free. So if you are considering opening a small business, reach out to your state and see what they have available as free resources, because they were amazing what they provided to us. Cannot highlight enough how much we value what they did for us. And we decided that with everything the industry is telling us, that romance would be the genre to focus on. Now, we moved forward putting our plans into place to be a romance bookstore, and we were getting to the point where we were looking at locations, and we were starting to think about branding, and my heart was just pulling on me that, but you aren't 100% romance, so what are you bringing to the table for this? Now, Ariana is my business partner, and she does read romance, and so that was her input, is really in that space. But she's also working on her PhD, and this is really going to be my next career move and her occasional time that she has available to spend on it and during the summer. So I need to be able to do this when she's not there. So obviously started thinking about, how do I leverage mysteries into this niche? And we came up with a concept of what we are calling a romantic suspense bookstore. So we are half romance, half mystery thrillers, and the merging of the two genres. Now, we also will carry romantasy and other things that fall along the borders of those categories, including classics that are either mysteries or romance. And we really just want to be a full exploration of what those genres mean to readers. So with that, we had to take a step back, and we had to rebrand, and we had to come up with a different name. So our big announcement, the name of our bookstore is Hollow Quill, which we feel is a good representation of the feeling we want people to have when they come to the store. That To me, a hollow can be spooky if you think of things like Sleepy Hollow, but it can also be very cozy and comforting, like a meadow in a hollow. And we have trees, we have a river running through town. So we really felt that it encapsulated the feel of both our inventory and of our location in Reno, Nevada. So with our name, Hollow Quill, we also wanted to go into a space that felt right for us and our clientele. And we think we found it in our space that we have leased, which has this huge brick wall, high ceilings, and really a space that we can brand as our own and put our own spin on it. We were lucky it was built out already. We didn't have to do any demolition. We didn't have to do any additional build out. It was just the right place in the right shape at the right time. So we feel extremely, extremely blessed that we found this location. So it's probably going to be a small soft launch. We won't have all of our inventory in place, so bear with us if you're in the area. But we are moving fast. Our bookshelves are being delivered on Tuesday, and they will start to go in. I'm in the process of moving our other fixtures. I say fixtures from a retail perspective, but really it's chairs, tables, things for displays, etc., our front counter, and we will get that set up as quickly as possible. And we are currently hiring for 2 assistant store manager positions. So this is all very timely. Now back to me, what this means for me. I want to be respectful of people who are in a similar position who, unlike me, don't have the resources to start with something as robust and big picture-y as I do. I think I'm in a unique position. I have savings, I have retirement income, and I have my severance package. So definitely in a unique position to be able to do this, and very, very grateful that I'm able to do this when so many people around me are going through very, very similar things and they don't have that luxury. So if you are going through something similar and you're thinking about starting something, I would love to chat. Happy to provide my insights of how I started and what I went through. If you aren't thinking about starting something, but you've been hit by a layoff and you're just going through those emotions and those feelings, I'm sure other people watching this are as well, and would love to hear me too, and what different people are doing and how they're approaching it. So thank you for being here, and thanks for your input, for your comments. If you are going through a layoff, hang in there. It has to get better, and reach out. What do you need? Let people know. It's the best thing is to talk about it and to start those conversations. Thanks for coming along on this journey with us. We are super excited to have you there. We have a lot of plans. Of course, they have to come in stages. We can't do everything at once, but hope that you follow along on this journey with us, and welcome to Hollow Quill.